Have you been feeling a little crooked lately? Well, if that's the case, maybe you need to give a little bit more attention to your horizon line. And that's what this week's episode is all about. In less than 5 minutes, I'm going to give you 3 quick tips on how to ensure that you have a straight horizon line every time you go out to capture photos. One of the big mistakes I notice a lot of photographers making, especially in the area of landscape photography, is they forget to pay attention to their horizon line. And when that takes place, everything becomes crooked in their image. They may capture the most stunning sunrise or sunset image or a beautiful landscape image, and yet because they did not pay attention to their horizon line, it is an epic fail for their photography due to the fact that it keeps them from being a next level photographer. And so that's what this week's episode is about. In 5 minutes, I plan on giving you a tutorial with 3 easy to follow steps to ensure that every time you go out and capture photograph, you're going to have a straight horizon line. And so if you're ready, let's go. We've got 5 minutes. The first option you have that will ensure you capture a straight horizon line is by using a bubble level. Before the digital era was born and electronic levels were introduced in DSLR cameras, the bubble level was the most popular and simplest way to make sure we have our camera straight while taking photos. In the world of digital and mirrorless cameras, there is not a huge need for a bubble level because of the technology that is built into our modern cameras. However, it is still a valuable tool to have, especially when you're shooting video or also when there is a bright sunlight out and you're experiencing a lot of glare on your LCD screen, which can make it difficult to see the grid lines that you need in order to line up the horizon. But this particular bubble level comes in a 2-pack combo, a double axis and a single axis. The single axis body shown here has a rubber body surrounding it, and it slips snugly onto the hot shoe of your camera. This can also be left in your hot shoe as a protective cover over the hot shoe. The second level that comes into the pack allows you to see both vertical and horizontal levels and can be installed in 2 different positions, vertically or horizontally. Once installed, the way to use it is by simply making sure the bubble is in the center of the black ring. Let's take a picture and see how well our first option works for capturing straight horizon lines. Well, that looks pretty straight to me. And so we see the first option that we have for creating straight horizon lines works very effectively, and that is the bubble level. The second option you have that will ensure you capture a straight horizon line is by using your camera's built-in LCD grid line. With the introduction of LCD screens in DSLR cameras, as well as most point-and-shoot cameras, mirrorless cameras, and even smartphone cameras today, we now have the option to overlay a grid line across our LCD screen. Let's take a picture and see how well this option works for capturing straight horizon lines. Now, in order to set up the LCD grid overlay screen, you'll want to refer to your owner's manual, depending upon what kind of camera you are using. For Canon cameras like what I'm using, you want to hit the menu button, and then from here you want to go over to the 5th section. And in the 5th section, you'll see that it says grid display, and right now it's turned off. So I'm going to turn it on to a 3x3 grid, and there you see that my grid has now come up. Not only will this help for my horizon alignment, but also to remind me to use the rule of thirds when necessary. It's important to note that when I was taking this particular photograph, the glare of the sun made it really difficult for me to see and line up my LCD screen. I actually took this photograph here and I got it right. But as the people in the foreground drew closer to me, I took this next picture thinking it was straight. But because the LCD screen was so difficult to see because of the brightness of the sun, you can see that my horizon line was actually not straight. And I share this with you to once again emphasize the fact that the bubble level has an important place in our photography bag of tricks. If I would have used my bubble level for this image, I would have seen that my horizon line was not straight. So we see that our second option for creating straight horizon lines works great. Our LCD grid line is also a great tool to have in our photographer's toolkit, unless of course there's a lot of glare from the sun. Hey, if you found this information helpful, can you do me a huge favor and hit the like button as well as the subscribe? I'd love to have you come along with me on this journey in photography where I can bring you more content like this. The third and final option I want to look at in this tutorial is the electronic level that our DSLR cameras come equipped with. This is the one I use most often, especially when I'm doing landscape photography. The straight line serves as a leveling indicator that changes color from red to green. When your camera is perfectly level, it will be green. And so let's take another photograph and see how well our LCD electronic level does for us. Well, there you have it. Our third option is also a very reliable tool to ensure that we will capture a straight horizon line. Well, there you have it. 3 easy ways to ensure that you will have straight horizon lines every time you go out and shoot. Before we go, I want to share one more quick tip just in case you end up with a crooked horizon line. There are times, because we're human, we make mistakes. Whether it's we're in a hurry, we're distracted, or we just plain forget to check the horizon line, and then we end up with a crooked horizon. And when that happens, all hope is not lost. We can still do some corrections in post-processing. In fact, that's what I want to do right now. I'm going to go ahead and pack things up. I want to head back home, go into my home office, and load these photos up into Lightroom. And I want to purposely have an image with a crooked horizon line so that I can show you how to use the crop overlay tool in Lightroom. Okay, here we are in Lightroom Classic, where we will discover that we actually have a fourth option to help ensure that we have a straight horizon line, and that is Lightroom's crop overlay tool. As you can see, I have uploaded my images from today. Here is the image that I captured earlier today, thinking I had the horizon line correct. But because of the glare on my LCD grid overlay, I was not able to effectively use that option. So let's take a look at how easy it is to actually straighten this horizon line out. First thing you do once you are in Lightroom is you want to hit on the Develop tab. And then you will want to select the Crop Overlay tool, which is right here. In the Crop Overlay panel, there are a few options for adjusting the horizon. You always want to begin with the Auto option. In this option, Lightroom will assess the image and fix it automatically for you. And in most cases, it's spot on. However, there will be times when you might not be completely happy with Lightroom's adjustment, and therefore you can also use this slider right here, or you can put your cursor down here and you can just manipulate the lines that way. But this is how easy it is to adjust your horizon line in Lightroom with the Crop Overlay tool. Once again, I want to thank you so much for joining me this week. I hope you found this content helpful. If you could do me a huge favor, hit the like button as well as the subscribe button. I really appreciate it. And until next week, go out and capture the world.